Just talking about an outbreak of COVID-19, what we're also seeing is an increase in the anxiety that people are experiencing.
But another huge impact that I've seen from the social distancing is people feeling lonely, bored, and isolated. We're social people, and it's hard to keep to ourselves and not want to be around people.
Good morning. My name is Rachel J. I am from psychology student. So what is your name?
My name is Sharon Ramos.
Okay. Ilham, how are you today?
Today I am fine. Thank you for asking.
Have you eaten?
Not yet,
Why?
because I was so busy just now.
Okay. So you want to eat first or you want to proceed this session?
I think I would like to proceed this session.
Okay.
Today's goal is basically to just mainly discuss about your feelings towards as we know there is a pandemic going on. So it's basically to explore your emotions related to the pandemic.
And all the information that you share and give to me during the session will be confidential. Alright?
Alright.
Okay, so you don't have to worry. I will not tell anyone about this.
There are a few steps in attending and questioning skills. Firstly is the setting. You can see in this video that the two people, which is the interviewer and the interviewee, are sitting in an L-shaped position. This is the right setting to sit during a session.
Firstly, I want to ask you, how do you feel about the COVID-19?
Based on the current situation right now, I feel quite anxious and scared because the KKM state that the number of people who affected by this virus are increasing day by day, and thus the number of death also increasing. Moreover, when I'm going to the supermarket, I need to expose myself to the crowd, and I worry that I'll be affected by the virus.
Alright. Okay, so those things make you anxious about yourself.
Yes.
Secondly is paraphrasing skill, where the interviewer states back what the interviewee has to say with few words but without changing the original meaning. During this COVID-19, what worry you the most?
Throughout this quarantine phase, I think the first one that I'm worried about is my financial issues because I have to double the work to manage all this money that have been used but not working. And I think the next one is I'm worried about all those works that I have not done, I have not finished before for like 1 month, and I have to double the work to replace all those times that have been used for the current. So you are saying that you worry most about your financial issues and all your works that pile up during this time. Yes, alright.
My question is, how do you cope with your anxiety and worries during this situation with COVID-19?
Right. Well, not only with COVID-19, but as a general thing, what happens is that my husband and I, we are in a very open relationship where, whatever it is, we don't judge. We don't have to think about how bad it is or how good it is. If we feel something that, whether it could be a worry, whether it could be an anxiety problem, or anything like that we are anxious, what we do is that we always openly talk about it. I think this because my husband is my best friend, so I'm very blessed like that. I can actually just talk to him about anything, and that is how I cope at this particular time. I mean, since the question is about COVID, right? The other thing is, religious wise, I pray a lot. I'm a firm believer in my Catholic faith. I believe that God is the Almighty God, and that He's an awesome God, and that, for some reason, that every single day when I do daily readings, For some reason or which I cannot explain, that particular reading of the day will be about something that I'm feeling at the moment and how to know that that I'm not alone, something like that. So if you ask me how I actually go through my anxiety and how I go through any worries at this particular time, this is it. My husband, God, relying on my prayers every night as well.
So, you do feel anxiety and worry over the situation, but overall, you have your husband as a social support, and then you also like turn to religion, turn to God to pray for your worries and anxieties, and also you take your time to actually comfort yourself by reading a lot of things, reading materials that actually talks about your own worries as well.
So, thirdly is doing a reflection, which is a verbal response to the client or the interviewee emotions.
Yeah, I can see that the panic buying and panic they came from your own experience, right? Seeing your friend, and also I think having a switch in perspective is also helping you well to cope with the situation from what I'm seeing, because you say that instead of seeing this pandemic as in something we have to be worried about, we can switch our perspective to see all the good that's been taking place. I think it's also helping you to have a positive view on what's happening too.
So, last but not least is a summarizing skill. Basically, summary is a collection of two or more paraphrase or reflection that contains the client or in the video, the interviewing messages or the session.
So by the connection, you're actually getting a new perspective to actually your own problems, and it's also helping you to cope with the problems that you're dealing with. But maybe at that moment you might not have the solution, but it may not really help. That is great. I'm really glad that you do have your ways of actually keeping yourself positive, and even though you do have, as you mentioned, you're anxious and you have the tendency to overthink, but I'm really glad that you're doing well with all this coping mechanisms.
Based on the relevant issue, which issue that can educate the community? In my opinion, because of the restriction movement order, I think all of us will be more aware about our hygiene, that we have to clean ourselves, and it will be important for us to protect ourselves and our family too, because this situation is very dangerous and we must be more protective about that.
Like you can find ways to cope with the anxiety, but if and have positivity, we might need other things than just coping with something. So in the sense of trying to be more positive during this time, what do you think you are doing, or you think it's a good idea to maybe apply?
Apart from doing those productive stuff, right? Because I was on my social media a lot, I actually took time to talk with some friends online, which I don't really know personally. But then because of that anonymity, because we don't really know each other personally, so we get to talk about anything without being afraid or without like concealing what we want to conceal. So I talked to a few friends online. I asked about them. Perhaps it would be a problem that is not really entirely related with the pandemic, but then somehow it helps because when you have someone to talk to, one, yes, of course it would kill the time, and second, you would feel like, oh, okay, like I'm actually living because I get to communicate with someone, I get to connect with someone, perhaps on emotional level, so it keeps me from being negative.
Based on my own experience interviewing my brother for the active listening practice, I managed to use all of those steps that I learned in the class and use it to interview my brother. Thus, I think it is quite easier for me to remember all of those steps if we do it practically in our real life.